Hey there, everybody. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kyle.
This is the Geeks For Hire podcast. Sorry we haven't been around for a couple days. I went on like a slightly impromptu vacation due to like all my moving stuff. It's my fault. The reason why we've been a little
No, I'm
uh,
just happy you're back. So,
and the thing is that we'll have everything all like set up and ready for like once I make a more permanent move. So it's not a big deal. This move was really like it was all sorts of crazy. So just in general, we don't have to worry about that in the future. Um, it'll be good.
yeah, so
So
I'm glad you're back. So,
yeah, it's
let's get
good.
into
It's
this.
good to be back. So so this is gonna be a little bit. We are gonna be covering stuff over like the time that we missed as well. So some things may dabble into 2 weeks as opposed to just one. Um, but that being said, let's go ahead and we'll start off with the top five big headlines. Number one is literally just today, Sunday. Satoru Iwata passed.
I'm sure everyone's heard of this. It kind of came out of nowhere. Like, we knew he had gone into the hospital a few times, but,
Uh,
like,
it's like I tell a lot of people, or like the people who I've talked to about it, is I mean, he was 55. Like, it's not like unlike our more recent passings, where not to sound rude or
yeah,
insensitive,
but Christopher Lee and Dusty Rhodes, like,
they
they were older.
exactly they were at a time frame where death is something where whether they had like come to terms with it or not, it's something that had been sort of like there.
Yeah, it's
Um,
natural aging. It's just how it
exactly,
works.
it's life. And with this one, it feels like life was taken too quickly, much too quickly. Especially because Iwata's only been president for about, I'd say, 3 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and I tell everybody, I think Nintendo Direct is one of the smartest choices they've made. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
like
just in a long time. I love the Nintendo Direct. I think it's great.
well,
Just really updates you without having to wait for, E3 or, a big other gaming convention announcement. You just get your, updates here and there. And
yeah,
so, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. It hasn't really sunk in yet, I
it,
think, for a lot
it,
of people.
and it's one of the things where exactly, I almost don't know how to react, you know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's really terrible it happened, but I would definitely wanted to sort of put it out there. Moving along into a little bit happier news, the San Diego Comic Con is going on.
Woo!
Now, if you don't know what it is, number one, for shame. Number two, welcome to being a geek because San Diego Comic Con is like, I would say there's for at least for most geeks, I'd say there's like three events, well, at least two events that are huge, and they both happen during the summer, and they're E3 and the San Diego Comic Con. Like the San Diego
That's
Comic
just
Con is
how it
awesome.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not going to talk about this in here because it's so big. It gets its own whole segment of the show. So
Yeah.
we'll get
I
to
want to
that.
be where the people are.
Look at them dance. Like the worst part is that like I've been to comic conventions, but there's nothing like the San Diego Comic
Mm-mm.
Convention. It's a
I
whole
mean,
new world.
all the actors who play superheroes go there. I
Oh,
mean, this is the place for comics. There's the that did you see the fight going on about that Jim Lee Batman black and white like special edition San
oh
Diego Comic Con
yes.
exclusive? Like, all right, we'll get to all this
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
today.
No, like I said, but there's that's how big it is, and that's
Yeah,
not including like it's got more bullets I think than I've put in a long time for our like middle section.
so
Um,
this will be good.
Number three, Ant Man comes out this Friday. I'm gonna go see it. I'm excited. I'm really the closer we get to it, the more I'm like, oh god, don't suck, don't suck.
Yeah,
Please
I
be better than
like
the Fantastic Four movie. Please be. That's. I mean, you don't have to be the best. Just be better than that movie.
this might be the first Marvel movie like I don't really go and see like in theaters.
Well, I would be okay if you don't see it on opening. I'm gonna try to get you to see it in theaters with me.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe.
I buy popcorn.
Oh, then we can do
uh,
a review on it, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to see it just for that sake. If you guys want
yeah,
me to go, let us know. Like
yeah,
right now. Like, dude,
yeah.
Kyle,
As soon as
hashtag
possible.
Kyle, go to Ant Man.
Do it. So, moving on, continuing on. This one's actually a little bit of a. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put it on there, but I felt it was kind of necessary because of how important Reddit is. Ellen Pao, I might be mispronouncing her last name. I'm terrible with enunciation. The CEO of Reddit stepped down after this huge controversy that's been going on. Whether you're, as I tell everybody, whether you're for or against, like people in charge, I've read a lot about it, and I understand both sides. I think that this is as terrible as it may sound, this is probably the best solution.
That's complete news to me, so you should update us.
All right, so essentially, the short story, short version is that um, Ellen Pao is a big supporter of, I would say, protecting rights for people. This started originally over Reddit taking down boards such as Fat People Hate, where basically it's an entire forum of people posting pictures of fat people, or I should say obese, and making fun of them. And Coontown is another one where it is an entire board about making fun of African Americans. Now, I'm a firm believer of freedom of the speech. I will say that I feel that it's inappropriate. I'm not a member of either of those boards. I'll be legitimately honest. I didn't know what Coontown was
Yeah,
until
I
someone had said
never
that.
would
So,
have guessed.
I will be honest. Fat people hate. I could have told you existed, but Coontown, I'm like, wow. And I apologize. I'm saying it so just straightforward like that. I know that is inappropriate, but that is the name of it. I can't get around that. Yeah, no,
Jesus.
yeah. It's because it's like really. Now, that being said, they were taking these boards down. Now, on one end, the people are going, this is good because we don't need this kind of filthy hate
Right, and then the
all
other
over
side, of course, is like, oh,
freedom of
well, they have the
speech.
right to, yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I don't want to get into all the details on it. I'm not going to give like a personal opinion thing.
Yeah,
I've got a whole like series kind of planned out for this, but like for things like this. But what it boils down to is that the real hitting point came when the I guess it was the moderator or one of the people, one of these really important people who worked for Reddit, who was really well loved by the community, who helped with the AMA section, which is the Ask Me Anything, where people would ask. Basically, they would hold Q and A's or request Q and A's, and she would assist in getting people. So if you said, "I really want to talk to Stan Lee," then she'd be like, "You know what? If enough people really want to talk to Stan Lee, I will try to get him." And like
that's
nine
dope.
times out of 10, most of these big guys are like, "You mean people want to talk to me?" And I mean, in all honesty, AMAs are some of the best ways to get to know people. One of my favorite ones was the Gordon Ramsay AMA, where he flat out like somebody was like, "Hey, look, I'm having this really hard time like learning how to cook and like or like really being like passionate about cooking now. Now that I'm actually in the workforce, it's just not the same, and I've lost my drive." And you'd expect him to be like, "Oh, bloody fucking hell, you just get off your ass at work." But instead, he gave this really heartfelt like, "Hey, I've been in your shoes. I remember being like that. Here are some things you need to do. If you've got a resume, here, let me know. You can send a message on here and send your resume to me. If you're in any area where I can assist you, like I'll see if I can get you as like a sous chef. Like
Yeah,
basically give him like a temporary job. It was
yeah,
really
Gordon
cool.
Ramsay, like, outside of, like, obviously the TV drama persona, is, like, one of the nicest guys. Like, he's
Yeah,
just awesome. Like,
yeah.
every time you see him in interviews and stuff, you're just like, wow, like, that guy's really nice.
I
It's just not what you expect, but
it's one of my friends put it really well in that it's at least with Gordon is that he when he's very passionate and serious about something and you make a mockery of it, he is personally offended, and he's so passionate that he's going to
well,
be
it's his
that.
passion. Of course he's going to be.
Like I said, it's something where you have like a respect for it.
Mhm.
Moving along, not to get too off track though, but she was fired. Now, Reddit basically, the users of Reddit essentially said that's not right. And there was no like this is sort of out of left field, and they blamed Ellen Pao as the CEO of Reddit for this loss.
Yeah, for it happening.
And now I am omitting a lot of things, and a lot of people say, well, it's not necessarily Ellen Pao. Ellen Pao is not the one who fired them. We're not mentioning the fact that the people didn't say, I don't think that's right, Ellen Pao. No,
Sure.
they were pretty nasty about it. But it came to a big head when some of the huge boards, with the exception of the AMA, like not just the AMA board, but like um, Funny, which is one of like I think that might be the number one board, the League of Legends board. They basically just closed the boards down for a day, saying like as protest.
Hmm.
So like tons and tons of boards closed down. Of course, like I said, there's two sides to every story. There's three sides to every story. A, B, and the truth.
Yeah.
And we've got a good idea of A and B, and I don't think we'll ever really know the truth. But she stepped down recently. I want to say it was within the past couple days, basically saying like I'm not being fired. I'm stepping down.
Sure.
This isn't directly because of this. Cough cough. Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and so but it's a big deal because now there's a lot of people who are like, well, this just shows how terrible Reddit is, and on the other side, it's well, this is a win for freedom of speech. And
Sure.
I'm like, exactly. It's a
Yeah,
lot of
it's
hoopla,
pick
but
pick what you want. Like,
yeah, like I said, it's a lot of drama, but it's this is going to be coming up a lot in a lot of stuff because this isn't the first time something like this has happened.
yeah, it sounds kind of like a lesser of two evils type of thing.
Yeah,
It's kind of like, oh, which one do you pick? It's
yeah,
like,
well, it's the same thing I gave with Gamergate, for instance. I gave Levi. I said, would you rather be on the side of unethical assholes or unethical assholes? And he's
yeah,
like, do I have to pick a side?
yeah,
Well, one side has brown duty and the other has green. He goes, I don't want to have duty. And I
yeah,
was like, you have to take the shit, Levi. He goes, I don't want the shit. But you're right. That's exactly what it is. It's
yeah.
yeah. So happier news once again. Dragon Ball Super is on TV now. All right. I don't care what anybody says. Even if you like, you hate or love Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. Um, that's the reason why anime exists in America, in my opinion. I think that's a pretty good like
Yeah, I mean, you could argue Astro Boy, you could argue a Speed Racer, but I mean, Dragon Ball Z is what made it like
big.
huge.
I'm sorry. We're having Goku versus Superman 2
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because now
So by the
Goku's
way,
got.
when Superman wins again,
Well, here's the thing. Everybody was like, "Oh yeah, now he can reach God Super Saiyan." I'm like, "All right, people, you haven't even watched the second movie." Huge spoiler alert. Like I've watched the second movie.
all right, I haven't seen
Huge.
it.
Then I won't say it.
Okay, thank God.
All I'm gonna say is this.
I'm waiting for it to come out in theaters.
Yeah, I'm seeing in the. Do you want to come with?
Yeah, totally.
Sweet. Um, okay, that just flat out. When Goku loses again, it won't be a surprise
Okay, cool. It's not a
yeah,
shocker.
yeah. Is Goku stronger? Yes. There's no denying this one. He is much stronger. Is he stronger than Superman? Has Goku traveled through space and time? Like he changed time by his movement?
The
No.
only thing I'm gonna say is like until, and I said it on my Facebook status and some some hate of course and some flack, but until Goku decides to use Kryptonite against Superman, he will never win. Like that's just what it comes down to.
In fact, this actually leads into something that I talked about with on my Facebook. Somebody brought up, well, how come Batman always beats Superman? I'm like, well, you have to understand that he's not necessarily beating Superman per se, so much as that he wins.
Yeah,
There's a difference.
he hardly like beats him. What he does is he plays on his morality,
His,
and then he
and
uses the kryptonite. Like,
exactly. And what's funny is I'm like, well, actually, there's a very like I think own the comic. I'll have to look around. I know I have it somewhere. Where Batman has the kryptonite in his hand, and Superman goes and blows the kryptonite out of his hand, and then goes bit bit bit. Like
yeah, that's I believe that's Lex Luthor,
yeah,
like Superman
Man of
Lex
Steel.
Luthor.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
that's
Yeah,
exactly what it is. And I remember that scene because I was like, wow,
yeah, it just blows it away from a distance, and then heat vision, and you're just like, okay.
and he just oh, I mean like like Superman just kind of beating you up is like beating your ass, but
Yeah,
I mean like it's yeah.
yeah, that's the problem. I mean, once Batman takes a hit from Superman, I mean that's kind of it.
Exactly. I mean, even when you like because everybody always points out the
Plus, Superman's always holding back. That's what I always have to point out. Superman's always holding back, and the Batman plays on his morality and has the kryptonite. And this rule of a death battle, I mean, that morality's not going to be in the way because you are going to kill your opponent. So Superman is out to kill you. If Superman is out to kill anyone, you're probably dead. Like,
yeah.
That's just kind of how it works. You never really see that blood crazed Superman because no one's gonna stop that. Normally he's under a mind control effect, so he's constantly fighting that, so he's weaker. And yeah, that's just how it's always going to be. Writing comics always ends up with that. I can do a whole segment on this later, but my point is Goku's gonna get wrecked by Superman, and it's gonna be awesome, and I'm gonna be cheering, and everyone's gonna be going boo hoo hoo. Screw Attack hates anime, and I'm gonna be like, okay.
Yeah, in their defense, they made it pretty clear why Superman is strong, and they even showed math. And I'm a big proponent that if you can give me math, I don't give a flying fuck.
Yeah,
Like
like
I can't really argue numbers.
I actually understand the hate of like Superman because he's so strong, but I mean he was the first. And people need to realize this, like comics are what they are because of Superman. He was the first. He can be as powerful as he wants. He can have all the powers he wants because he was the first.
Yeah.
So that's the problem is when Superman is just this powerful and this strong, and then you want Goku to win. I understand because you like Goku, you want him to win. But there's a difference between wanting someone to win and being a fanboy and understanding this person can't take this fight. I just had a conversation like this with Batman versus the Doctor from Doctor Who. And yeah, it's such a strange argument. It's such a strange fight. I got you just recently. It's fine. I mean, I'm watching it. It's okay. I haven't gotten that far, so I'm not gonna judge it yet. I'm on the first Doctor, only like the ninth Doctor or whatever, so I haven't gotten to David Tennant or Matt Smith or whatever one says I need to get to. But they would say, basically Doctor Who's got the TARDIS, he's got all space and time, so he's gonna wreck Batman, and it's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, the guy can go through time and space. Like, what do you do to that? Like,
You know what's really funny about this is that the exact response I give in this situation is that there's only one actual thing that he has, Doctor Who, as somebody who actually has watched
or
it
the
pretty good.
Doctor.
Yeah, the
And people
Doctor.
correct me on that. The Doctor, that's his name.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like it's Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
The thing is that he's got the sonic screwdriver. Are you really telling me that Batman can't pretty much take it out of his hand and then go, well, that's how it works?
Yeah, they were talking about how like basically the sonic screwdriver would disable his entire utility belt, and I was just like, all
Now,
right.
here's the thing. All right, how many people are going to be like, okay, I just imagine like Tennant be like, like charging him with the screwdriver. I'm
Well,
like,
apparently the Doctor would know though, because the time travel thing. That's what I'm talking about though. It was when you have someone so powerful that he can know all that. That I'm just kind of like,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess.
yeah.
But
It goes
I
into
just don't
that.
know it enough
It,
yet.
it goes into that thing of is that let's say they're in the same universe for whatever reason. Batman will probably know of the Doctor, and the Doctor should know of the Batman. The other thing is this is that I mean you don't really ever kill the Doctor. He
Right.
just
He regenerates or whatever.
exactly. I mean like, eh,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
one of those
It's
things
strange.
where I'm
But
like,
that's my point. Is I
yeah.
obviously I would want Batman to win,
Oh
but
yeah, yeah, hands down.
I'm not going to be like I'm like, oh wow, if he has those kind of powers, I don't know if Batman can beat him. Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like I understand people like Goku. You can like Goku all you want. I'm not saying don't like him. I'm just acknowledge the fact that Superman would beat him. That's all I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen again live on live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't wait for that. It's gonna be great. But Dragon Ball Super, it's not that far in. It's exactly as you'd assume a Dragon Ball Z series would be. It's starting out slow and it's got to build.
Yeah. I would say
And I
everybody was
believe
like,
sorry, I believe it takes place right before Battle of the Gods.
"Mm." So what it looks like they're doing is that episode one takes at least episode 1 and 2 are taking place before Battle of the Gods. Episodes like 3 and 4 will probably take place right after it, and then lead into Battle of F, and then it'll
Okay.
go into the next one. Because Battle of F is, I give them this much: if they are going to go with the whole like, well, the movie's like just a retelling of what we're going to do in Super,
Mhm.
so be it. But at the very least, they've definitely made it look like both movies are like in order, and that Dragon Ball Super is basically taking place between them and after them, and then onward.
All right, so mainly what I want to get on at this point is go watch it if you haven't, and there's not enough to say on it yet.
Yeah, it's just exciting that it actually happened. Like,
Yeah.
We got another Dragon Ball, and it. I will say this: they totally did take dorky GT Gohan, and I was like, oh. I'm
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that they don't keep that, but like it's fun. Hercule is the best character still.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
who doesn't love Mr. Satan?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Here you
So
go. Bye bye.
yeah. So comics to read this week.
All right, so now we are going to cover a little bit for, like I said, the missing weeks. So the very first one, this one is I actually like have I want to say 7 copies of it because I got like all
All the
the
variants.
damn near. I got an extra one for Mo. If you're watching Mo, I got you. Um, but Archie #1 just came out. They've officially rebooted it. Now I'll be honest, I really expected it to be very like Archie.
Very
It's
campy.
it's really not. It's actually like a really good story. Jughead is an interesting character. Like I didn't think you could do that. Um, it starts off with Archie and Betty breaking up, and Veronica hasn't even showed up, the black-haired chick.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
no, I know a lot of people always are like, "Who's Betty?"
Which one's winning again?
Yeah, and here's the thing. Archie is one of those comics where so everybody all right. So everybody always goes that the two big guys are Marvel and DC in comics, and I agree. Followed by I think it's Image Comics and Image and IDW. Usually are like jostling for that because one of them has Saga and the other one has The Walking Dead. I just forget which.
Image has Saga. No,
And
no, no.
what?
Image has Saga and Walking Dead.
Okay,
Or does IDW have a Walking Dead right now? No, no, no. They're both Image.
yeah, they're both Image. You're right. I'm trying to think of IDW has
IDW has G.I.
which
Joe.
and Witchbane or whatever. No, she might be Image too. Ah, yeah. All I know is that usually like those are like the two they usually say is the third one. But if we want to be like by sale numbers, Archie is like actually like that #3 person. They sell a lot of comics and they make a lot more than people think. Um, and Archie #1 is a really big deal because Archie's been going on forever. And things that are like, oh, they have a gay marriage in comics. I'm like, Archie did it.
Yeah,
Oh, they have an interracial marriage in comics. Archie did it like back in the '80s when it was
yeah,
actually controversial. Like
yeah.
it was actually like a weird thing. Oh wow, they have this long running female lead. I'm like, believe it or not, Betty and Veronica have starred in almost as many comics as like Archie has on their
Yep.
own.
They even had their own series called Betty and
Yeah,
Veronica.
and then they had their own separate series like Betty,
Betty
Veronica.
and
Like
Veronica.
it was like having Superman and Batman, and then Batman Superman.
Yeah,
Like like
and
that's
then Predator vs Archie just came out recently, and
yeah. Oh
it's
my gosh.
yeah, that's
Predator.
so beast. But
I actually kind of like that. Like I like that because that is campy.
yeah,
And
it's a lot of
it's
fun.
yeah. I
But
was
yeah,
really surprised.
honestly, it's a #1. Follow the Kyle and Josh rule. Give it up to 3 issues before you decide whether or not you want it. And then, but yeah, I mean, it's a number
Yeah.
one.
I
Really,
say there's it's a #1, so you're right. The three issues in, and if you don't like, if you're interested just by the premises, give it 3. But I always tell people you should have if you're starting off in comics, there's 4 you should always get. You should be getting a series that you know is good, or like it's bound to be good. Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Spider-Man. It's not often that those will be bad per se.
they can be.
They
Don't
can
be fooled.
be,
But
but
you can ask someone to help too.
exactly. And,
It's
but
me.
and yeah,
I'll
yeah,
help.
yeah, exactly. But most of the time, those ones are pretty safe picks. You should pick a new or totally like strange comic, something that you wouldn't normally pick to put you out of your comfort zone. These would be things like if you're going in there for Walking Dead, go ahead and pick up Archie with it because you know what? It's totally different from what you'd normally read. It gives you the perspective for other things.
Yeah, Spawn, which is another
Yeah,
good one. One thing
yeah,
I
I
think
would
of.
say
Uh,
it's not exactly Marvel or DC. It's not one of the normal
or
mainstream.
totally Saga. Like
Yeah,
honestly, if
Saga's
you have
really good.
not, Saga's great.
Yeah,
And not many people think about it because it's third party. Saga is
yeah.
fantastic.
The only reason I haven't put Saga on any of these lists is just because it's kind of hard to get into if you don't
You
start
have
from
to
a like.
start. Yeah,
And until they get to a new arc, which I think they're getting close to ending,
yeah,
I don't want to recommend it as something to
sure,
read this
sure,
week.
sure. But no,
Um,
it's a Marvel. It's great.
yeah. And the other one is you should pick a bad comic. When the New 52 started, I had Green Lantern and Grifter. And
You
Grifter was a
love
bad,
Grifter. Shut up.
but Grifter was a bad comic.
It's okay. I got Deathstroke when that first came out too. I was right there with you.
Yeah, we're sitting there like, and then they canceled Grifter, and Deathstroke's like on life support, like, I'm coming, Benny. And then Team 7 comes out, we're like, yeah, and
Yeah,
we
they just
knew it
put
was bad.
all
We
of our
knew
crappy stuff together.
we knew it was bad. It lasted like 6 issues, and
We still got it.
yeah. But you should get it because it shows that it lets you see those characters. Most people wouldn't have given a shit about Deadpool if Deadpool didn't like have his own series. It's not that he's a bad comic; it's that I wouldn't think Deadpool would have had a good comic when they
Let's
first
support
gave
your
him.
characters.
Yeah, Squirrel Girl is an actually entertaining comic, but
Sure.
but at the same time, I'd never recommend it.
So number 2,
Yeah.
Hail Hydra number 1.
Now this is because it's a very interesting idea. They're starting to do this with Marvel, and we'll kind of touch on this with the Comic-Con reveals, is that they're going into this doing sort of the Shield agents and giving them a lot more. This is sort of part of the whole Battle World thing going on, and in this segment of Battle World, this is a a what if story if Hydra won, and so basically the world is idyllic in Hydra's image. The Nazis won.
Yeah, what happens when the Nazis would have won? But it's Marvel's take on it, so it's sure to be interesting. If you're interested in Captain America at all, if you're interested in just the whole Hydra, especially in the movie type universe, I would definitely recommend picking this up.
I would say if you like the first, a lot of people. I was dating a girl at the time when Captain America 1 and 2 came out, and she loved Captain America 1's movie, but didn't really care for 2 because she doesn't like superhero movies. Because 1 felt more like a historic action film, whereas 2 felt like a superhero action
How
film.
bizarre! Actually, Captain America to me is like the one franchise where the first movie was like a war movie, and the second movie was actually more of a political thriller to me than a superhero movie.
Exactly, I agree.
And that's what I thought. The actual I'm not a Captain America fan by any means, but the actual franchise itself, like movie-wise, has actually been like very broad with its genre, and I thought that was pretty cool. He's one of the few heroes who can get away with doing that.
Yeah, it's part of what Civil War looks exciting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, number 3 on the list is, and I put this on here half jokingly, half like you have to read it to believe it. Is Sonic World's United Battle or Unite Battles.
We like Sonic, but
here's the thing: Archie has been doing something that is really cool, and particularly if you're looking for like a comic to give to like your little brother, or if you like need an excuse to like go and like pick up something kind of goofy. Basically, Archie has been making Sonic comics for almost as long as
and they're good.
Yeah, they're actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, it's actually where a lot of like the Sonic
lore,
like weird. I don't want to say weird. That seems kind of mean. Just like the Sonic fan base like gets majority of like where they get it from is I don't really know how to get into it.
That's the best way to put it. When people are like, who the hell is that character? And they're like, oh, that's Knuckles' grandfather. And they're like,
yeah. This is where it all comes from.
Yes.
It's like, how do you people get so far? It's like there's only like there's so many games. Like
in Sonic 3, they didn't even say anything.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like the history's good. Like I mean, they have in-depth characters. Like you care about these characters.
It's surprising. But so they recently also got the rights to Mega Man, and they decided, you know what?
Sonic Mega Man crossover.
And it's kind of good actually, because
they've
also included like Mega Man X as part of its own crossover into it. So like this is like almost a Smash Brothers-esque comic. I basically if you don't want something so like kind of goofy out there, there is the Secret Wars Battle World comic by Marvel. I think they're on issue number 3 this week. I'd recommend that one because it's a fight. That's all it is. It's basically cool fights in comics. This is also a great way to find artists you like because the writing is going to be ho hum, but the art is going to be on point.
Yeah. What I would say to a lot of people is like art is actually almost the main reason you read a comic. I mean, the stories can be some of the best stories you've ever read in anything, like just like a good play, just like Shakespeare, just like any of the classics. I mean, you have these great stories of these characters, but how it's drawn is really what's going to draw you into it. I mean, it's a graphic novel, you know.
You wouldn't pick like even if I told you it's got the best story ever. If it looks like Duty, I don't want to read it.
And it's just exciting when you find an artist you like, and then
Like,
you want to follow their work like into other people, and they can branch you into other heroes or just other comics. Because you're like, hey, I remember that guy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
So number 4 is Red Hood and Arsenal number 2. Now it's not because there's anything special about number 2. It's because Red Hood and Arsenal I thought was going to suck. I love Red Hood and the Outlaws. That was actually one of the New 52 comics that I remember picking up and being told by my local comic book guy, man, that's going to get canceled in like 12 issues. I'm like,
Nope.
no way, man. This is going to go all the way. And it did. It went the whole
Yeah,
way.
definitely did not get canceled.
And when they split, it's not because like they were removing a character. No, they're just saying Starfire gets her own series, and now Red Hood and Arsenal get to be like bros for life, man, and it works. Those two characters work so well together, and Red Hood and Arsenal 1, I was so nervous it was going to be like but it was phenomenal, and like everything is on point. The writing is on point. It is the equivalent of a bro comic. Like these are two guys. Like it's Army of Two comic book style.
Yeah, for those who played Arkham Knight, don't know much about Red Hood, now is the perfect time to get involved and really see his character in the New 52 universe. And his origin story is great. How he's written in the New 52 is great. He's still part of the Bat family. He's just kind of like the weird redheaded stepchild of it, but it works.
Kind of literally. And Arsenal is I stand by it when. During Red Hood and the Outlaw, like Arsenal's always like he's like the comic relief almost, and then like you see scenes where he's like no, I'm gonna go save him because he's a cool guy, and they're like he's a dick, yeah, but he's my dick.
Yeah, yeah, I mean it's just you don't really see this like bro camaraderie as much in comics. You have Batman and Robin, you have like Steve Rogers and Captain America and Falcon, and then like you see these guys and they're just two best friends looking out for each other. Like literally. That's just what it is. Like through hardships, like alcohol, drugs, like I mean, for everything.
Death.
Yeah, like it's just really good. Yeah. So definitely get it. Just remember rule of 3, and this is number 2. So
yeah, and it's one of the things where like I said, 1 blew me away. I'm hyped for 2, and I'm on for the ride.
Hey, go support Starfire if you like her. She has her own series coming out.
I don't like the only reason why I didn't put her on there.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, I didn't like the artwork. I'll be honest, I actually didn't like the New 52 rework of Starfire. Everybody was like, oh, she's hypersexualized. And I'm like, I didn't, believe it or not, that was actually not even in my mind. I saw her and went, oh, she's attractive, and moved on with my life. I just didn't like her look. Like, it was just, I like the Teen Titans cartoon Starfire look. I admit it.
I mean, yeah, we got used to it. That's what we were really introduced to.
And they gave us like
old 80s hairstyle.
Right? The 80s goddess. And I'm like, damn. She's a shampoo commercial.
She's one foxy lady.
She's a Starfire. But so number 5 though is Civil War number 1. Now, there's a very, very, very specific reason why I put this on here. And the reason why is because now this is a what if story. It's basically what if Captain America didn't surrender at that point and the Civil War
Tony Stark became president.
Basically, yeah. Now the reason why I'm saying this is that this is not I do not know. I do not claim to know. This is not something where I have some sort of secret passage. I have a very strong feeling you're going to see a lot of the things in this comic be brought up in the Captain America movie coming up.
Yeah, that makes sense. Captain America Civil War, this could easily.
Especially because the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I mean, we'll get into this as we go on. We actually have a whole segment later. But I really think that this is going to be there. Plus, I mean, flat out, Civil War is the reason why Marvel is still in business today. Flat out. Like, I truly believe that.
Yeah, it was a huge major event. It was great.
Yeah. It's what got me back into comics. Like,
it brought a lot of people in.
And I mean, there you go. I'm not saying this is going to be the best comic ever, but the stuff that's going on in there, don't be surprised if you're like, oh, I see what you're doing there.
Plus, it's going to be heroes fighting heroes. It's always cool to watch.
Yeah.
It just is.
A gritty battle.
Yeah.
So, those are the top 5 comics to keep an eye out for. All right, so as we stated earlier, Comic-Con is going, well, I think it just ended. It ended today, or does it go on to Monday?
I think it ends today. I'm not there, so it's not like it matters to me. But
I'm not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now so much stuff happened. Kyle, I want you to like at least say like 1 to 3 things that you were like, yes, I am happy they did this at Comic-Con.
Okay. I'm gonna be real. Batfleck is gonna be good.
Yes. Oh my.
I don't care what people say.
When I heard
Like,
him talk, I heard him talking, and I'm like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know how good the movie itself is. I'm hyped regardless. Uh, Dude, Luther with hair threw me off, but
but you know what? I kind of liked him.
I know. No, dude. The thing is, he's gonna steal the show. Like Jesse Eisenberg,
Yes.
Luther's gonna steal the show. I don't have a problem with that. It's just
He's got hair.
what I really have to go for is what I really have to say is that people would say, Batfleck is gonna suck, and I'm like right in the beginning, I'm like, give him a chance. He's not gonna suck. Daredevil and Batman are pretty similar. He wasn't that bad in Daredevil. The movie was just bad. Give him a shot. He's directing a lot of movies recently. He's been doing really good. I mean, that was bad early 2000 stage. He's been directing great movies. He's been winning awards. I mean, Ben Affleck's just on top right now. And honestly, as Batman, I'm impressed, and I want to see him in the full movie, and I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm 110% agree. Like, yes. The other thing is I'm like, I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised at it. I think because a lot of people, I've had people on Facebook already going, oh, I don't even get why, we all know how it's going to end. Batman's going to figure out a way to beat Superman. I'm like, no.
Yeah, it looks like it's loosely based off the Dark Knight Returns story, so we'll see how it goes down. But we know it's going to lead into the Justice League movie regardless, so we know everyone's going to kill each other.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. All right. So one of the other things, the Suicide Squad trailer got released. I didn't watch it. I did not watch it. Stop.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a huge Suicide Squad fan, actually. I got into them really hard when the New 52 started, and I saw Harley Quinn on the cover, and she hadn't had her own comic until much later. And I like Harley enough where I was just like, oh, what's this about? And then the premise was just great. You have these criminals who have these suicide collars on them, and the government sends them into these missions that are suicide missions, and if they don't follow the rules, they blow up their heads. If they do complete this mission, they get a huge number of years to sentence. So it's kind of a win-win or lose-lose, pick your poison type of thing. And so I like the Suicide Squad a lot, and I've watched the show. I'm gonna wait. It's really nothing but good things, actually. I know a lot of people are hating on the new joke or whatnot, but we'll see.
So, I did watch it, and I'm not going to spoil much outside of saying that.
Sure.
Okay, part of the draw of the Suicide Squad is that, like, especially the new one is I don't want to butcher the name, Deadshot, right?
Yeah, Deadshot. That's absolutely correct.
Now, Will Smith is the biggest actor in that movie. He's Deadshot. They got his costume right, and I was like, yes. Like, it was.
Oh, actually, Deadshot, so I'm really
like
with it.
they got his costume right, and it looks like they're doing a good chunk of the movie is going to be focused on him. But what really got me is that Jared Leto is a very different Joker, and he only says like two things in the movie, and they're not super Joker.
Trailer or the movie?
Oh, trailer. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, how'd you know that?
Well, you see, thanks to my magical script. No, it looks, he's very different. I mean, his look is obvious, but but people were all much like Batfleck, like, oh, I don't think he's going to do very good. And now I remember reading the comments and people going, wow, I'm sold. And I'm like, yeah, actually, Jared Leto looks pretty freaky, and he's got a good, distinct Joker laugh. Like, I'm more hyped for that movie now than I was when they announced it or they rumored it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they casted it well. I think that it's going to turn out really good. And Harley Quinn, the one character in the film who I was like, or the one actress in the film who I'm like, I don't know, man. There's a scene where somebody is one of the characters is hitting on her. I think it's Captain Boomerang. And he goes, I always go for the crazy ones. And she blows the thing of bubblegum. It pops, and she like puts it in her mouth. She goes, what? And does like that Harley what? Like, and I'm like, oh wow, that's really spot on.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I'm actually I think that if Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice is the Avengers, then Suicide Squad will be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay, I see.
That's the best way to put it, and that's what it. And you know what? If that's what it turns out, oh hell yeah, I'm down with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
So yeah, Comic Con's exciting.
yeah, they announced this is more from a video game side. I'm super stoked for Street Fighter Five. Like I'm like, oh boy, Street Fighter Five, and they announced Ken finally.
I don't like his hair.
Everybody says that, and I'm sitting there like, I
I've heard
don't.
nothing but people loving his hair.
Oh, see, I've heard like some people love it, some people hate it. Kotaku has a Photoshop thing about redesigning him, and I'm like, I actually think he looks fine. I like
I
his
mean,
stupid
I don't
hair.
know if he's worth a redesign, but like, I mean, I'm just not a fan of the hair. He's got the red gi. That's what really matters.
It's like a red gi with like the body like compression thing on.
Ah, okay.
Like he basically because he's not a Shota character like Ryu is anymore.
Really?
Like you need to watch the trailer when he does like his kicks. His Tatsumaki is very different. It is not a Tatsumaki anymore.
Huh.
Um,
I mean, it makes sense. He had been working on his own style and stuff, so.
yeah. I also will say this: any character that starts with like a pun, basically for like they're like walking in motion, and he goes, "Looks like it's time to heat things up," and he's like a kick thing, and fire comes off his foot, and I'm like,
You like Guile and you like Ken. Now shut up.
oh my gosh, the fact that Charlie's in the game too, I'm sitting there.
Oh, you mean Nash?
Well, it's Charlie Nash. That's his full name.
I know, but you mean Nash. It's not Charlie anymore. It's the Frankenstein Nash monster.
You know what the best part is? You know why I don't call him Nash? Because all I ever think of is what was that?
I didn't say that.
Okay. Now the only reason why I don't call him Nash is because every time someone says Nash, all I think of is Kevin Nash. So
I know.
I mean, this huge like Big Daddy
Oh my
Diesel
gosh.
jackknifing you, and I'm like, man, I don't want that. I want like teleport behind you. The guy's like, where's he at? And he like does his like sonic
Yeah, that's a
boom
pretty
vertically.
creepy move, I'll admit, but.
Yeah, Ken's is basically he does this like move, kicks you, and then like winds up, and then he like nails you, and it ends with him taking the bottom of his foot and just going.
Yeah,
I was like, and he did to Birdie, who I think is just disgusting looking in this game. Like in it, I like that Birdie's in the game. I like that he's disgusting. He's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that's just pretty is. Like,
Yeah, and I mean it's like he like licks the chin like. I'm like he throws like garbage at you while he's fighting. I'm like, what a dickhead. I actually but outside of that, I saw the Deadpool trailer, and I've been saying this is that Deadpool's going to be a good enough movie. I think it's going to be fun. I think it'll be good.
the Deadpool movie, don't take it seriously.
Exactly. It's one of the things where no matter what, it's going to make the money back that they put into it.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
People are gonna see it on principle.
But will it be a great movie? I'm like Ryan Reynolds actually seems to care, so yeah, I think it'll be good. Yeah. It'll be good in that aspect. But that being said, I think that the movie it'll basically be one of those movies where Deadpool is like hilarious or like goofy through the whole film, and everything else is serious, which is pretty much like a Deadpool comic. So
yeah, it's exactly what people are gonna expect, I believe.
Yeah. Now Comic-Con always has like all these toys, and I'll be real. I'm the kind of guy who goes to a convention and looks at everything and has like $300 in his hand and goes, and walks away, and you're like, you have $300 in your hand. That thing cost $5. I'm like, because I can't make up my mind.
Yeah, I do that a lot too.
Like I tell everybody, I buy Sonic statues, and I'm like, I just spent $150 on this. Oh God, why?
Yeah.
No, it's one of the things where I always say I want this stuff, and then I get it, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, then you just look and you're like, wow, that's a lot of money that I'm never gonna get back.
Yeah, and it's not like it's something I can enjoy all the time. The reason why I have tons of comics is because, technically speaking, I can at any point in time crack it open, smell it, and take a readsy of it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like it's got like it's the same thing as like. When I go to the store and I have the option of buying like the generic brand Irish Spring or Irish Spring, I'm like, oh, the generic brand Irish Spring smells the same. Like I'm the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm like that. That happens for me. So toys are very difficult for me to be sold on, especially because this year everybody's talking about Veronatron or whatever, the female connector transformer. That I don't like Transformers very much. I didn't like them before the movie. I didn't like them after the movies. I just wasn't big into them. I liked Beast Wars a little, but like Beast Wars is one of the things where it happened to be on when nothing else was on that I was watching. So I would be like, oh, Beast Wars.
Well, one of the tweets I saw. Wait, go ahead and
No,
finish yours.
no, that was it. Like,
Okay, yeah, I saw the Batman the Animated Series, Batmobile, where that actually has like the light up inside, makes the sounds and everything. Like it
oh
lights
yeah.
up and you see the interior of the Batmobile, and it was like $100. I'm like, oh.
Well, and I'm sitting there like, that's for what you just described. That's a good price.
Yeah, I know. I expected it to be so much more, but that's the problem. I expected it to be more than $100. Like that goes to show you. But I mean,
Yeah.
like especially Batman the Animated Series stuff, like you just don't see it as much. And so I'm just like, oh god, it's so bad.
And you know what's funny about this? This is something I actually bring up to a lot of people. I've been to a couple comic book conventions. I've been to some very small ones. You and I have been to very small ones.
Oh yeah, that was
Um,
kind of nice.
Yeah, I was about to say the trade show basically.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if I can fit it in with my moving and whatnot. But I'm going to try and go down to the to one down south where I'm living at. I'm going to be living basically on on the handle of Florida. There's a convention on August 8th that's down there, and I'm hoping to go there. For whatever reason you see me and you recognize me, I'll try to have a Geeks for Hire shirt on. I'm gonna see if I can like have multiples of them and give them out to people who recognize me,
Yeah.
or at least ask, But yeah, no, it's gonna be probably the biggest comic book convention I've been to. I've been to really big anime conventions. I've been to Otakon and lesser, but still pretty big, Katsucon, and I've been to Anime USA. And then I've been to a gaming convention, Bagfest. And as I tell everybody, at anime conventions, things are expensive as hell. But it seems that at comic book conventions, only the really, really rare things are expensive as
Yeah,
hell.
you can go and fill in key issues you're missing and whatnot for a pretty reasonable price. It's nice.
Well, and then like even like toys and like figures, figurines and stuff. They're relatively normal. They're maybe a step above because
Sure.
they're usually I know at least at San Diego they're exclusives. But in like some cases, there's some where they're not maybe not exclusives, but they're harder to come by. I remember one of my friends buying like some anime thing for like $300, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that isn't like gigantic. That's $300 at
Yeah,
Comic-Con.
it's because I think the import is what makes it cost more, and then
Yeah, import and then the anime tax.
yeah, it's ridiculous. But anyways, yeah,
But so,
comic conventions.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited about that. Our one of our big goals is to be able to go to more conventions, but we got to get to that point first. Where
Yeah,
we
we want to
start
go
like,
together.
planning them. Yeah.
In panels. It'll be fun.
No one's here.
Yeah.
No, we would just do the podcast live.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yep. Yeah. So we're gonna try and work on finding like conventions that we can go to together. I figure we'll probably if I had to pick one that we could do, it would probably be Awesome Con next year. But if we wanted one in between there, I would pick probably Orlando.
That'd be fun. I'd hit up Universal while I'm there.
Yeah.
Whee!
And then give the middle finger to Disney. All right, so this is a little off topic. Every time I bring up Universal Studios to Disney World, I've been to Disney World as a kid twice. And I remember very clearly my parents, because I'm a geek, being like, let's go to Epcot. And I remember the first time being like, yay, Epcot! And then being like, huh, Epcot. And the second time going, yay, Epcot! And then going, fuck Epcot. All right, Epcot is really cool to think about. I love seeing pictures of Epcot. Then you're actually there and there is nothing to do at Epcot. That's taking aside the fact that my family is notorious for being like, hey, when's the busiest time of the year to go? And the busiest day, we are going to go on Saturday when everyone's there. And it's going to be hot.
During
and my
the summer.
dad's a Scrooge, so there's no way you're getting anything. Water's $2. You can drink out of the fountain on the floor. That's not a fountain on the floor. That's the rainwater. It'll do.
It's more like the water's $20.
No, this is for the teeny water bottles.
Yeah.
You know, the little tiny like, ones that you get for like little kids.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man. But so I mean, like I actually remember I liked. Is it the Magical Kingdom is down there? The Magical Kingdom, And I like
Magic Kingdom's the main one.
yeah.
Animal Kingdom,
Animal
Magic
Kingdom
Kingdom.
was all right, and then Epcot. I hated Epcot so much. But here's the thing: everybody then says, "Oh man, then you should go to Universal Studios. You've been, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, totally." It's like a tear comes out, going, "Why don't you love me, Dad? You took me to Disney World twice. You knew I didn't like Epcot."
You could drink the rainwater.
You know what's really funny is that as an adult, so we live close to a theme park called King's Dominion, and as an adult, I bought a season ticket or season pass to King's Dominion for the summer, and I was super stoked. And now I realize as an adult why parents don't do this and go all the time, because you go there twice and then you're like, well, what do I do now? I don't want
Yeah.
to ride Volcano 8 times.
Yeah, it's not like you will because the line anyway.
No, well, that's the thing. Because okay, so I've got a season pass and I'm an adult, so I get to choose when I go. I'm not going to be like my dad. I'm going to say I'm going to take this Wednesday off, or I have Thursday off, and I'm going to go in the middle of the week. So there's no one really in the park in the same regard. I also have a season pass, so I get to go in an hour early and ride like 2 rides, like as much as I
Yeah.
want before the park. Everybody like gets a chance to go in. And what this really means is that I basically walk in and they're like, "There's Volcano, have at it." And I'm like, and ride Volcano 3 times. Yeah, ride Volcano 3 times and then leave the park.
Yeah.
Like Joe and I went once, and we got there at like 11 and left at 3. Who does that? It's not like we don't live around the corner from
Wow.
this place. We live a good like hour away at
You guys
least.
just lame.
Well, here's the thing: we rode like 3 or 4 rides. I threw up because Joe was like, "Let's ride the roughest ride as fast as
What did
possible."
you ride?
We in order: Intimidator, Flight of Fear, the ride that used to be the Italian Job but is now like the
The stunt
stunt one,
coaster?
the stunt coaster, and Ricochet. So we went from intensity, in the dark over intensity, lots of spins and stops, clunk 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 clunk
You
clunk.
actually threw up though?
After Ricochet, I did this. I felt it. I was like, "We need to go to the bathroom, Joe." And he's like, "You have to poop?" I'm like, "No." And then he sees me.
No.
He's like, "Oh." And I literally go, I'm like, "Manly, manly." And I hold it in, and I'm like, and I'm like, I get there, and Joe's like, "I have to take a number 2," and I'm like, "Oh God, I'm gonna throw up anyway now." And I get there, and I'm like sitting there, like, "Come on, you could do this. We practice this." And then nothing comes. I'm like, "Oh God, I'm not gonna throw up." And then I'm like, "Man, all right, Joe, we need to get like some food or something."
Mm.
And so I went there at Dippin' Dots, and then we literally we went first. We went to Water World, and we went to the water park, and just did like everything at the water park.
Yeah, I heard that's really fun.
Yeah, and to be honest, um, because I grew up in Australia, I do love water. Everyone in Australia, even if you live in the outback, goes to the edges of it and swims and punches a shark. You don't really punch a shark, but you live in Australia, you gotta say you did. And you've
Okay.
seen the Great Barrier Reef.
Well, we've gotten a little bit off topic.
It's true.
But our main thing is our next
uh,
segment and the last of it.
oh yes, so this kind of goes. I went back a little early with my dad. My dad has work. I have things I have to do at my old house I have to take care of. But so on the ride back, we got talking about Marvel movies and the Marvel universe, and kind of because everybody goes, "Oh yeah, I watch Marvel, Marvel, Batman, Spider-Man," and I'm sitting there going,
I know everything.
and I'm sitting there, "Are you going to mention Daredevil while you're at it? The Daredevil movie?" And I'm like, "I hate you. At least say Daredevil Netflix."
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
pretty accurate.
But so they get on that. I'm like, "Oh, well, you know that." And we start talking about the next movie, Civil War, and basically the thing is that my sister's boyfriend and my dad were like, "So wait a minute, Captain America and Iron Man are gonna fight each other." I'm like, "Well, they have teams basically. The superhero community is split to what decision is right,
Sure.
and it's not that it's black and white like it normally is. The bad guy wants to kill people and take over the world. The good guys want to beat him up so he can't."
Yeah, doesn't work that way
Yeah,
now.
no,
It's hero
now,
versus
yeah.
hero.
And as I told everybody, Civil War is such a mature storyline, and it touches on a lot of things that we deal with now today.
Yeah.
Invasion of privacy and all sorts of other things. But so I'm trying to explain like what goes on in Civil War, and then every single time they have to like cut me off at something and cut me off at something, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, look, let me more or less explain this. Is that it's not going to be like the comics. It's going to be a little different. And they're like, but why? And I'm like, because it's not. That's not how they've been working it. I mean, if we want to go by the comics, then Samuel L. Jackson can't be Nick Fury if this is the technical Civil War.
Yeah.
There you go. And so it kind of goes on to basically them saying, so wait, how do you have an idea as to what's going to happen next? And I'm like, oh, well, Marvel and DC are basically rebooting everything.
Yep.
Because, and I remember why we got into the reboot conversation is because I mentioned Cyborg is part of the Justice League. And my dad went, that is not correct. Cyborg is a Teen Titan. And I'm like,
yes.
Good job. Actually, yes, Dad.
Yeah.
But they rebooted it, and he goes, oh, so is he, like, old? No, he's the youngest member of the Justice League. But the Justice League in general, all of them are just starting to. I said, basically imagine that superheroes didn't pop up until, like, 2005.
Right, sure.
Like, loosely speaking.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so he's like, okay, like my dad
They're
totally
relatively
gets it,
new subject.
Exactly. So he's like, okay, that I can work with this. And so, but so then I get on to Marvel. Now, we didn't get a chance to cover it, but Marvel like basically is doing the new 52 of Marvel. They announced like 49 number ones that are coming out in October.
Yep.
October. If you're not gonna buy comics until October, okay, fine.
Yeah.
But so I started going on about certain things about it, and like for instance, Captain America is now technically the Falcon, and they're like, he's black? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay. I'm like, Spider-Man is now Miles Morales, and they're like, so it's not Peter Parker. I'm like, technically,
no, he's Spider-Man Incorporated.
Yeah, I'm like, technically, no. If you said I'd like one number or Spider-Man #1, you're gonna get it and go, huh? I don't remember him wearing this outfit. Oh well, I'll read it, and you'll be like, Miles Morales, you're not Peter Parker. And then Peter Parker's like, I approve you, Miles Morales. I don't approve you.
Yeah, I like Miles Morales a lot.
I do too. Like I said, this is kind of where I was sitting here like,
no, it's a good thing.
My dad literally looks and goes, so why is the Thing wearing all black and hanging out with Rocket Raccoon? Is he showing up in the Guardians of the Galaxy too?
Yeah.
No, he's not dead. I hope he. If he did, I'd legit like squee, but he's not. And I'm like, no, Dad, he's not showing up in there. And then my sister's boyfriend's like, who's that cute person, pretending to be Thor? I went, oh, that's Thor. Thor's not a woman. What are they doing to be politically correct? I'm like, no, they're changing it up. It's the all new, all different Marvel. And both of them are like, no, that sucks. I don't want to read this. Next, they're going to turn Wolverine into a woman. Kinda. Wolverine.
They did.
I'm like, well, Wolverine's been dead in the main universe.
Yeah.
But you just said Wolverine's not dead. And I'm like, no, that's Old Man Logan Wolverine. It's a different Wolverine.
Different universe.
And they're like, so, but is he Wolverine?
Yes.
Technically, exactly. So now here's the thing. It got me thinking. Why are they rebooting? Like, it's very convenient that they're both kind of rebooting at the same time. DC technically isn't really rebooting so much as they're bringing back a lot of things. Yeah. Basically, the New 52 was a reboot, and that was more to clean things up. Convergence is because there was enough complaining. And I stand by that. There was enough complaining about the differences of the New 52.
Yep.
And they said, well, then, all right, then what we'll do is that you'll get all the stuff you liked, but on our terms. And so they basically, they took all the multiverses and then put them into one universe or like one segment of stories that people can follow.
So kind of like what everything happened is canon now.
Which they've done. They've gone back and forth on so many times.
I know. But this is where people need to understand that like your influence does actually affect what comes out and what happens. I mean, enough people complained about the New 52, which I've enjoyed pretty much thoroughly. Like I liked it a lot, and basically everyone has complained about it so much that now they're doing convergence, so everything will be basically one stream timeline, and things will come out when they come out. And I don't think that's a bad move necessarily. I'm excited actually.
It's double-sided, I believe. It's first and foremost. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot more money in movies than there are in comics, and that's not to be mean against comics. Just it's a movie. Even if I sold 1 million comics and then had 100,000 people went to the movies, I think I may be a little off in some math, but I'm pretty sure you'd make more money doing the movie.
Sure.
But the thing is that. You also say, well, I can guarantee about 100,000 comics being sold and 1 million ticket seats being sold. So
Right.
the numbers would have been swapped anyway.
Also, I mean, comics is where it started, so this is.
And that's that's the other side of it is that because all these people, I mean, the Marvel movies are doing great. The three Batman movies that are the Christian Bale
The Nolan movies.
or Nolan, yeah, there you go.
The Nolan trilogy.
Yeah, the Bale Bat Bale. I've been trying to come up with a good name for
I
him.
call him Nolan Man.
Nolan, man, that's the one you used. I love that one.
Yeah.
But those and to a lesser extent, Man of Steel. I liked Man of Steel.
I like Man of Steel too.
Yeah, I actually did like it. But with those, and if you want to go in even lesser extent, Netflix's Daredevil and Green Arrow and The Flash, the TV shows, Constantine. Which side note, Sister's boyfriend was upset that Constantine got canceled and wants to know if there is a petition of any sort to sign to get it on Hulu or Netflix.
Yeah, there are petitions. I've been sending them around everywhere. It's a shame that show got canceled.
We'll put it in. We'll find the one that you want, and we'll put it in the description down below.
I don't know if it will do any good, guys, but it was a good show. It shouldn't have been canceled.
Oh, it's surprising for somebody who remember these guys aren't comic book guys. They're not really geeks. For him to say it's like if Supernatural wasn't suck.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually,
that's exactly how I would describe
yeah. He goes, it's like Constantine's cool, and he's got like a cool group of people around him. And like Supernatural was good until season
good.
whatever. Yeah, until season.
Exactly.
Like, I think he said season 3 it should have ended or something. I don't know. I'm not a Supernatural guy.
It shouldn't have lasted as long as it had. Yeah.
Exactly. But so going in with that, he basically but so people are now interested in the source material. Well, it's very daunting for people to start comics when they're picking up like issue number 45
Absolutely.
or issue in some cases like they pick up the comic that they want to read and they're like, oh, this will be great, and then they realize that this comic has nothing to do with what's going on with anything that anybody's reading.
It's like opening up a book in the middle and saying good luck, like have fun.
or like picking up like, I hate this in like young adult short stories where like you pick up a book in the series but you don't know which book in the series it is.
Yeah.
And then you read it and you're like, I have no idea what, like, they're referencing things I don't get. And then when you go to talk to people about it and they're like, oh, you didn't read blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And it gets even worse when then they have like, you picked up book 3, which is a prequel. So it actually happens before book 1.
Right.
So when you read book 1, you're now like.
And that happens in comics too. So it's like,
it happens a lot. And so I actually think that now is a perfect time to do rebooting. And the way they're rebooting isn't like, in DC's case, they really did say we're starting at number 1. You know, there are very few like origins that like we're really messing with.
Yeah, there was a bunch of number 1s and it was great, and DC sales were through the roof and everyone was happy.
Yeah, I was saying, and Marvel basically just announced their set. Like I think it's like 49 of them.
Yeah.
It's something. It's a huge amount, and they'll all debut in October, which is crazy.
And it's gonna be great.
Yeah. But it's one of the things where it really bothered me to hear them say that, oh, that's a stupid idea. When I'm sitting there going, I mean, like, because they're like, oh, well, why is Captain America, like, why is the Falcon Captain America? I'm like,
that's a great concept.
like, taking aside the fact that, like, I think that's a great concept. And that, in my opinion, sans Super Soldier Serum, Sam Wilson makes the most sense. Like, really, if you read the comics he does. It's not like Steve Rogers is gone. No, Steve Rogers has his own, like, comic, basically.
Right.
A lot of people
want Steve Rogers still just go follow him.
Exactly.
Like, it doesn't hurt anything, and it proves, it makes the story stronger.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where I'm like, people tend to forget that aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, don't be jerks.
Yeah.
So I think that they're doing a lot of things right as well. Like if you look at how DC's doing it. DC's not necessarily ruining anything. They're not like saying the New 52 never happened. They're basically saying, all right, well, what did we do? What can we bring back that won't affect too much? Like, for instance, there's talk of having people from the Flashpoint universe coming forward.
Yeah, and I'm all for that.
Yeah,
I love Flashpoint.
I would say they're having like Earth 2, Earth 3, and Earth 2 combining and fighting.
So the real significance of question here, I mean, we can debate about it all day long, but it is rebooting a good thing? And for the most part, yeah, like I would say so. Strictly why I like it is normally my stories get some sort of closure or end. Like for instance, DC had Flashpoint, and then that led into the New 52. So you're like, okay, now all this starts. Like that's not that hard to follow. Now people who come to me and ask, well, I want to read about this hero. Where do I start? Well, this new universe, of this character started. You should read him. So like I have a friend who's a really big Flash fan, and he knows like damn near nothing
Yeah,
about regular Flash, but New 52 Flash he knows all about.
exactly. And it's one of those things where when I first started getting into comics, I remember, and Flash actually is exactly what I remember them talking about. And bringing up, oh, you know what you should read? You should read. And it was the Flash issue where the two Flashes from alternate universes meet each other for the very first time. It's when DC started actually dabbling with the multiverse.
Sure.
Now, number one, there is no way in hell I'm going to be able to ever get that comic, probably. That's like really mean to say that's what you should read. And I'm like, ow!
Yeah, I mean
Like,
you can get graphic novels normally, but
exactly. But of course, that's not what anybody ever tells you. Side, once again, side thing. If you want to really read a specific story, like someone has recommended a story for you, find the graphic novel. It'll be a million times easier and cheaper,
and
and
it's
it'll
all
give you
collected for you.
one story. I have a friend where when he reads manga, he hates like reading weekly manga. He wants like one that's already ended to read because he wants to read it from beginning to end. Graphic novels do that, or if they don't do that, they give you like the first like it's volume one, volume two, and then there you go. That's the
And
whole
then
story.
there's the complete story put together.
Mhm. Batman does arcs, and I love like how they did the Batman ones.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think that rebooting is a good thing so long as you do it without totally like bastardizing things. Um, a lot of people I think are very confused as to why they would like, well, why get rid of Captain America? They're not getting rid of Captain America. Just much like all things in life, Captain America is gonna eventually age.
Oh yeah.
Like the argument they gave is that like why is X-23 Wolverine? And I'm like because
That's his clone.
the original Wolverine's dead, and the next closest thing is Dakin, who, as far as I know, is either dead or an asshole. I
Well,
mean, I mean
I think Dakin's actually alive right now. It's just he's kind of a punk. He's a great character though, but he's just an ass.
oh yeah, no, I don't mean like I
The
don't
thing
like him.
is, it's who's closer than his clone.
Yeah, X-23
Like,
makes sense. And who's training X-23? Technically, another version of Wolverine. In fact,
yep.
I think the most badass version, in all honesty.
It's debatable, but I mean,
Well,
yeah,
I really love Old Man Logan. Like
yeah. Old Man Logan is amazing.
that was my favorite Wolverine.
Yeah, he's great.
Next to X-Men '92 Wolverine.
Sure.
I fight alone.
Yeah, you want the Popeye Wolverine? I got you.
I do. I love him. So, but I think that rebooting's great. I think that it's an exciting time, and I think that more people than not will be interested in it. But we'd love to hear your opinions on this as well. Do you think the reboots are going well, and are you enjoying the reboots? Um, is there a specific one that you plan on picking up? For instance, I actually plan on picking up Spider-Man 2099. I'm really excited to see what they do with a character who I loved when they came up with him.
Yellow Hera, great
And
Spider-Man.
yeah, and I love they're keeping true to his style. He's the time traveling Spider-Man.
Yep, makes sense to me.
So this is where we come up to our free space time. Normally we would actually end up saying that this is where we would like for you guys to ask questions. So if you have any like comments, questions, any sort of things you'd like to ask, this is where we do it at. We got a Facebook page. We also will answer anything on Twitter. We're hopefully going to start doing on Saturdays, doing like a hashtag or something. Like we haven't decided how we're going to work it yet. But essentially, those are the days where you ask the questions. We pick like the top 5 and we answer them.
And this is the time we would be answering them.
Yep. But so you can follow us. We're gonna have our Twitters down below. We'll also have the Facebook page there. We're also on SoundCloud. So if you want to, instead of I know me when I'm driving, I want to turn my the screen off. You can't do that with the YouTube apps ever. SoundCloud you can. So if you want to be able to hear us while on the go or something, you can also get us there. Those will always come out on Wednesdays. That way, there's still some time frame there.
Right.
Outside of this, so. To end it all up, we always do the 2 minutes of basically anything we want to talk about. Kyle, as always, because you are the more dashing, devilish, handsome gentleman.
Well,
if you would please go first. He's bearded. I'm not. I get screen baby face.
Okay.
And whenever you are ready.
I have a couple new videos coming out. Just keep an eye out for them if you're into my solo stuff. We'll be doing some collaboration stuff soon enough, but just my solo videos are still coming out, so if you're into that, be sure to keep an eye out for it. Um, my content has been a little delayed because my uncle Jamie had passed away. Um, this is my time to say what I want to say, so I'm not gonna go into some big thing. I said what I needed to say at the funeral and stuff, but I would just give a little honor to him here. Just tell him that I love him still, even though he's not part of this world anymore. Um, moving on, Batman, Arkham Knight season pass, Batgirl. She's getting her story. Comes out July 14th tomorrow. All right, cool. Tomorrow, for season pass owners like me, so it's gonna be take place before Arkham Asylum. Actually, it's gonna be Batgirl, and she looks fantastic. Batgirl and Robin teaming up to take down Joker because Batman can't get involved for whatever reason. Apparently, it's gonna be about 2 hours of content, so I'm gonna be playing it, and I'll give my own thoughts. Like give my Batman Arkham Knight review, which will be coming out within a few days, and so this will shortly follow my opinions on the DLC. Also, Predator came out in Mortal Kombat X. Play him; he's really fun. His brutalities are better than his fatalities, and Predator's just freaking awesome. Just so happy with how well the character was represented in this franchise, especially a franchise like Mortal Kombat. Who would have thought you would really ever get to play Predator in a fighting game and done so well? So Predator's great. Get him, get the Arkham Knight DLC, and be sure to look out for my review for it. And it's Kyle signing off.
So, first and foremost, man, I was gonna talk about Predator. I've been playing Predator, and you hit it on the head. I'm like, man, Predator. Wow, go figure. They did Jason, and I'm like, well, I expected Jason to be good after Freddy, who I didn't expect to be good either. And I'm like, man, imagine if Spawn was in this game. I'm still fingers crossed on that. I do want to give a shout out. So growing up, I did a lot of stuff with wanting to become like a game developer, and believe it or not, Iwata is very important. Satoru Iwata is very important to game development. As many say, he was a programmer, and I actually like followed a lot of things that he worked on. He worked for HAL Laboratories, and he was incredible with what he did. Taking that aside, like from his programming days, it's a huge thing what he's done with Nintendo. Nintendo has been for years this like strange laughing stock, like, oh haha, look at you with all your money. Like, I know the Wii like is a success, but then we think about it and we're like, well, nobody plays it, nobody likes it. It's like a joke, and the Wii U is like a joke. And I'm sitting here going, honestly, I think he had the right idea as a president. He put himself out there. He said, here I am, and I'm going to bring all the information about my product directly to you. I mean, and that was amazing. That takes balls, and I don't think there's ever going to be another person like that. It's a serious loss for the gaming community, and more than I think anybody truly knows. Less somber stuff. I do hopefully plan on being at the Pensacola Comic Con. Like I said, I'm hoping to have some Geeks for Hire T-shirts. So if you happen to be like, you notice me on the convention floor, flag me down. I'm gonna try to have, like I said, a couple extra shirts. I'm gonna be handing them out to people for anybody who recognizes me. Maybe have some pins or something. So yeah. It'll probably be the stupid Geeks for Hire face thing that we have, but it'll just be our faces with like the afro and the Iron Man mask.
Oh, Iron Fist.
Iron Fist. Oh, sorry, Iron Fist. Well, I might put Iron Man mask with Iron Fist like thing over it. I'll have like the Power Man afro with like the Green Lantern ring. Oh, and final thing. I'm super happy because my sister's my sister's baby, was crying up a storm while I was on vacation. I put on Batman the Animated Series, and she was hooked. She's like 1, and it's like, and I'm like, yes, soon. So, With that being said, we've just run out of time. We've gone a little bit over today, but I kind of wanted to have a little bit of extra stuff for the missing time. Normally we're like an hour long, but if you go over, who cares? So I am Josh.
I'm Kyle.
And we're the Geeks For Hire. Y'all take it easy, folks.
Yep.
All right. So I'm working on the videos. I'll put it this way. I'm sleeping on an air mattress. It is terrible. Like, you can't see my bed. Look, where'd it go?
Yeah, I know.
I hate it.
I don't worry. I'm not concerned about it. So did you get what you needed from me though?
Oh, go ahead and send them again because I don't know if they trend. It's one of things where I have the edited videos I had worked on from when I was there, but I want to make sure that I have the original copies of your sound files in case something happens.
Okay.
I say it should just be it's the two Arkham Knights, Arkham Knight 100% ending opinion and the Arkham Knight review. Just resend those two.
It's called what?
One is the Arkham Knight 100% ending opinion, and the other one is a Arkham Knight review. James Rolfe and Mike Matai played Burnout 3. I'm like, nice. I'm just imagining it because like James seems like really awkward about that. Like with any newer games, I really move the mic so it's not like right in front of my computer. Ooh, I'm downloading. All right. Outside of that, you saw like the little bulletin board that I had down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically gonna be like tacking all sorts of crap up there, like tack, like all the time. So, but I'm excited about that because I'll be like literally like tick 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 tick. I'll be able to basically be like, all right, so.
Oh yeah, here's one more. It needs an edit though.
That's fine.
I actually did end up making.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh my! Really I didn't bring this up in the podcast, but so my dad I basically hit a point where I'm like, you know what? Fuck you guys, and I was just trying to be an asshole about as much as possible, right? And I was like, well, I mean, Batman had a pink outfit once, and they're like, no, he didn't, and I'm like, yeah, he had a compulsive desire to wear different colored batsuits every night.
Yeah, the old Silver Age shit.
And my dad was like, no, you're just trying to ruin it for me.
No.
Oh, Thor has luscious breasts and Batman is pink. I hate you. He's like, let me guess, Wonder Woman's a lesbian. I'm like, no.
That'd be awesome.
That's what it sounds like. She's bisexual.
Alright, well, I'm going to hit the hay.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm going to encode one of the videos I've got here. So I wanted to ask your opinion on one thing. So I have like three things that I'm going to be doing soon. One of them is like it's basically taking a video game and going through it, or not like playing through it, but like I've talked to you about it before. One of them is more of like a sarcastic thing. Like remember I was talking about the whole Reddit thing?
Yeah.
Basically doing videos like that and basically putting it at its core at the actual critical thinking part, and then pointing out the fact that because you're both assholes, like nothing's fixing this.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
As well as doing like more like goofier things for instance, one of them, Levi recorded the whole thing and I sent it to Jacob and Jacob thought it was funny and Jacob's an asshole.
Okay.
So
I kind of want to see this then.
I'll see if Levi. I don't have it on my phone. Levi has it on his, and it's just audio. But it was basically me saying, why you're not a successful League of Legends personality, and what you could do to fix it. And it was basically like I'll give you the gist of it. It was like, number one, you're not a pro. It doesn't matter. Like you can have the best equipment in the world, but you're not in the LCS. Why would I watch you?
Yeah.
Number two, you're not original. Your guide is not something that somebody else hasn't already done, who's better than you and has been doing it forever. And the last one was that honestly, you're not funny or entertaining.
Damn.
And I was like, let's be real. And I literally like basically pulled up three like people. I said these three people are very well known and very like knowledgeable, entertaining, funny. And I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, and this is why they are. And here's the 10 people, and I like started like calling people out and saying they all copy blank, and they all copy blank.
Mhm.
Like,
Like you have like a flow chart.
oh yeah, no, Levi is like cracking up during this part because I'm like, look, I was like, look, I don't even like care about Donkey that much, but at least I can say he's original. He's the guy who started doing it before any of you faggots did.
Mhm.
But yeah. Yeah. The other one was I'm not gonna lie, I totally stole the idea from somebody else because I overheard what they said and they said, oh, that sounds like a good idea.
Oh, what was
So you know how MagFest has these like challenges? Oh, wait, you haven't been to MagFest, have you?
it? No.
We're going next year we're going to MagFest because Levi's going to MagFest.
Oh, okay.
It's basically because he's joining boot camp like as he like right out of high school.
Yeah, I know.
I basically convinced my mom like, hey, can I take Levi with me to MagFest? And she's like, are you gonna get drunk? And I'm like, probably.
Yeah.
She's like, and she literally was like, is Levi gonna get drunk? I went, if he wants to. And she literally was like, well, you were honest with me. Okay.
Yeah, plus he's Levi. The man, damn it. He's the one son that didn't fuck up besides you.
And you know what? That boy has got some zingers. Like Kyle, I'm sorry.
No, dude, he sent me a
that
picture.
And he went, Josh is singing, help me. And I'm like,
No, but he's
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I had no idea he had done that. He literally showed it to me after you had replied. And
dude,
I
was dying. I was like, I love you so much.
No, I just like laid back like afterwards, like.
It was his face.
The best part is that my dad came in the room, and before I could even say, he said, "What's wrong, Josh?" Levi said, "You got any burn ointment?" And my dad looked at me and goes, and Levi goes, and I'm like, and my dad's like,
This kid's gone a long way from shit his pants.
What's funny is that thing? He's like, yeah, and next I'm gonna rub it all over you, and I'm like, what's that? Gross.
I just love that story so much.
I felt so bad for him.
Yeah, but it's funny.
He laughs about it too. It's okay.
I mean, I'm never gonna bring it up to him, but it's.
Dude, my other favorite thing is this, like, all right, so he like took a major dookie like while we were on vacation, and then like he literally like did this like half flush where it didn't really go down, and then he like opened the door and said it's all yours, man, and I'm like, I'm not going in there, you were in there, and I shit you not, he goes, oh Micah, you said you needed to use the bathroom, right? Well, here's the thing, in my bathroom there, because I got my own bathroom, it's like the bathroom room is like the sink and a mirror, and then there's like another room, and it's literally right wall, shower, toilet. The toilet, like if I'm shitting, I can like reach into the shower and grab some soap and wash my hands while taking a shit. Like it's that close. He shit and did that in that toilet as Micah went to go take a shower. Micah had to shower in duty stank. He had to clean the air around him. It was terrible. Levi's a madman.
And he half flushed. He half flushed it.
Like I was like, you monster, and Levi's just like. The only thing better is seeing Levi play like really old school video games, and he's horrible. He's horrible. He dies in the first level of Mario. To Goombas.
Fuck.
My favorite thing is that he like went to this like this hole, and he goes to jump it, and he like gets halfway, and he's like no, because he doesn't hold the run button, and he's like, how do I do this? And he sees me like go through the whole level, and he's like.
By the way, the reason that the story is so funny is because the way you tell it.
It's because I that's the one thing I will brag. I will really brag about is that I do tell stories pretty damn good.
Yeah, but it's like you're like the oil and shit from the fries. Like I can visualize.
Because like there's so much grease on the pizza. The greasy pizza, and it just slithered through his body. Squeak.
You were like it like slid out his butt cheek.
It lubricated. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, so Milton. All right, so because you're gonna end up coming down. I have a feeling out of everybody I know, you're probably gonna come down once and then be like, yeah, hey mom, I'm dead, and then like not come
I'm coming
back.
down next month probably.
like basically, if you can help it, I get down there August 11th is the day. I want to go down August like 5th because if I can help, like if I can, because then I could be at Pensacola Comic Con.
Well, yeah, I can probably go around that time. I just wanted you to know.
Well, now the thing though is I have to make sure it's cool with my mom. Now, and I'm sure she'd just be like, okay, whatever. He's got to sleep in the baby's room on an air mattress, and I'm like, is the baby in there? He'll be like, no.
Maybe in there.
No. Or you have to share you have to share beds, and I'll be like, Kyle, I'll just cuddle.
Yeah,
Whatever.
we'll spoon and take pictures.
We'll take turns being big and little spoon. But yeah, no, I'll talk to her and see. But honestly, once they're gone, basically my mom has made it pretty clear that like there's only a few people she doesn't want there, and they're mostly girls.
Damn.
Actually, it's funny. I was like, well, Lauren was talking about coming down, and of all the people that I expected her to be like, no, not in my house, she's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, really?
Who are the girls that she doesn't want?
So you remember the girl I used to bang at? Well, she doesn't want Brandy because she. So it kind of like because I told Levi like Levi knows the situation with Brandy, like how that all went down, and I guess Levi went, well, it's not like they're dating, or I think it was something to the extent of like, yeah, well, Brandy's boyfriend I heard was pretty cool, like something like that, and my mom being like, I thought Brandy and Josh were a thing, and he's like, yeah, and my dad of course is sitting here like, that's my boy. No, oh, dude, my dad and I drove down by her. Like, so when we drove down the first time, we took 2 cars and a U-Haul. And my mom, the baby, and Levi were in one car. Cammy and Micah were in another car. Which which Levi said, yeah, I pretty much assumed that Micah was wide awake the whole time because Cammy just blew him the whole time. And I'm like, that's like a 18-hour drive we took. So she shouldn't be able to talk then. But no, that's why I was like, oh, Levi, don't put that image in my head. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, Cam would be like this. I'm like, I don't want to know her technique. How do you know her technique? And then Levi's like, I don't blow dicks. That's why Levi, I don't blow dicks. But so my dad and I were on the ride down by ourselves, and on the ride down, I forget how it came to conversation, but I basically he kind of called me out on Brandy. I'm like, well, you could say that I was a bull in that relationship, and he just went like literally was like, that's a little outside of my kink zone. I enjoy sex, and then I'm like, well, I'm pretty much okay with it so long as nobody puts a finger in my butt. And he just starts laughing. He goes, this one time I was with a girl. I'm like, oh, man, I'm finally getting the story of my dad. He's going to tell me something nasty about mom. It wasn't mom. It was some other girl who apparently was giving him a blowjob and put a finger up his butt. He's like, ah! And he's like, I mean, it wasn't that bad. And I was like, I don't know. I'd be kind of wigged out by it. He's like, but see, no, but he goes, but then, like, she turned around and I was like, oh, it's that kind of game, huh? And he said, and I decided to go for it. And we didn't have a second date. I'm like, Dad, you tried to put in your butt raw.
That's awesome.
And he's like, I said, hey, and his next response was, well, she took it though. And I'm like,
damn.
I'm like, wow, Dad, wow. And he's just like, I've had my fair share. Or like when he was like, there was the time I was really high because I joined a fraternity and I thought it would be cool to be high and I did something stupid. You know what I did, Josh? Because I was telling you about the time when I got really drunk and got kicked out of the Chinese restaurant in Bradford. And he's like, and I ordered pizza and then my fellow fraternity members hid the pizza from me and I was too high to really like be coherent. So the one guy who had the most irritating laugh and had a cane because he had a limp, I took his cane and beat him until he gave me my pizza back. And he said, I beat the crippled kid to get my pizza back. He goes, I beat him just. And I'm like,
damn.
I'm like, is this where you tell me meth, not even once, Dad? And he goes, it wasn't meth, it was marijuana. No, the ride down was really actually, it's one of those things where like, I'm like, we're getting it, like we're getting to the point where like we're both like, oh God, why do I have to trip over? Because it's like 1 a.m. We've been driving since like 8 a.m. It was terrible, you know.
Yeah.
It was 2 o'clock for us because we're technically on the other time zone,
Sure.
and so at this point, I'm like, Dad, I know you're too tired to really understand this, but this was a really fun ride. So, hey, I'll let you go to bed.
Just hoping it would freeze like that. Like,
I'll let you go to bed. It is, I would say, yeah, no, but you'll like Milton. Milton, it's really funny. Milton is basically like Manassas, except really, really southern. Like,
weird.
really southern. You have to understand. I have chickens. Like, we have chickens
Oh, so do I. I have chickens.
in your backyard.
No, not this backyard.
Yeah, I have them in my backyard next to my pool. My mom just lets them roam around the house or the not the house, the backyard. My dad told me I couldn't catch a chicken, so I did.
Oh yeah, I caught chickens. They're fun.
Yeah, and then I jumped off the roof. Then I hit my sword against them enough times till they attacked me.
Okay.
But yeah, wow, didn't get my Zelda reference.
Sorry, I'm really tired.
No, you're good. I'm pretty tired too.
All right.
So anywho, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna try finish encoding this video, and then I'm gonna pass out. Um, what day are you off this week?
uh, Friday, Sunday.
I know I'm off Friday afternoon. Do you
Well,
want?
regardless, we'll figure something out because my hours aren't nearly that bad. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
like, I can just hang out after work. Worst comes to worst, even.
yeah, I'd say, and well, I work all mornings, so like,
Yeah. So you'll be free.
yeah. So basically, yeah. And the only day where I have any like concrete plans is tomorrow. Paul wants to hang out, and then Thursday, Lauren wants to go to dinner.
Okay. Well, I'll message you when I wake up and we'll
And
figure out stuff.
text me.
All right. Night.
Nightmare.